It seems the objectives for this course and for Microsoft's first functional group titled Deploy and Manage Servers here for the 70-411 are kind of in a reverse order of difficulty. We started with a look at deploying servers and some of the complexities involved with Windows deployment services and the other tools you can integrate together to create that automated deployment solution. That content was rather difficult, and in fact, squeezing it into the hour that we had available was something that was difficult to do without skipping over important parts of how you go about deploying services using Microsoft's automated solutions. The information learned there contrasts well with our last course on WSS, where things were just a little bit easier. And then here again with our final module for this course and functional group titled Monitor Servers. Now, I introduced this concept in this way, not because this is unimportant information, but probably because you've seen a lot of these things before. It is my guess that you have done real-time performance monitoring using perfmon on at least the Windows desktop operating system. In Windows 7, Windows 8, or whatever your preferred version of the Windows desktop OS, you've probably pulled up Task Manager at some point, or even perfmon, to take a look at why some process is perhaps consuming too many resources. Well, the same tools hold true in the server OS as well. We have Task Manager, we have perfmon, we have the abilities to do some other cool things like scheduling performance monitoring and configuring alerts. All of these we'll talk about here in this module as it relates to the server OS here with Windows Server 2012 R2. One of the things you may not have seen, however, are data collector sets, which are a new-ish kind of way to generate reports that consolidate a variety of different monitors down into a single view. We'll talk about how to configure them and how to make them available so you can see the different things that are going on under the covers in your Windows OS. We'll talk also about monitoring for events, which is another thing that I'm guessing you've probably done in the Windows Desktop OS as well. The event log is a fantastic location to try to figure out why your instance of the Windows OS is not just working very well. And so being able to monitor for events and knowing how to use the event log is something you just have to know, whether it's a desktop or a server operating system. Now, one kind of nifty feature that's baked into Event Log on both the desktop and server OSs is this notion of event subscriptions, and it's my guess you probably haven't turned these things on before. Event subscriptions provide a way for multiple different machines to essentially forward their event log information to a single store. What that gives you is the abilities to view multiple machines and the events on multiple machines in a single location. We'll talk in this module about how to configure them and how to use group policy to configure them on a more automated basis as well. We do want to spend just a minute talking about network monitoring. I just want to show you the one tool that Microsoft now has available to do network monitoring. The whole process of capturing network traces with these tools is something that really could be its own course and may well be here in the Pluralsight catalog. But I mainly just want to point you towards the new tool you can use for doing those network traces. And then lastly, we have a relatively quick discussion of a special circumstance in monitoring that arrives anytime you're talking about virtual machines. Any kind of virtual machine sits on top of a hypervisor, and the process by which that hypervisor gives its attention to different virtual machines at the same time creates some weirdness in how virtual machines need to be monitored. Now, thankfully, that weirdness is something you can get around as long as you use the right tools to do the monitoring, and I'll show you exactly what those tools are and specifically the different perfmon counters that you should pay attention to.